Jets at noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Hello. Welcome to the show. Cam Poitras, Jim Toth. Jim, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Happy Wednesday. Hump day. Sun is out. And a shout out to all the frontline people who are working on these wildfires.
Shout out. Yeah, good shout out. I support that shout out.
Yeah. There are some people in the front lines that can, have this on and stuff. I doubt that they can on the front lines. So they're probably not going to hear this. But for all you and all the communities who are helping, who are doing things, we wish you all the best on this Wednesday. I just see the weather out, and I think we're excited for summer. But so many people are going through some stuff. So I just thought I would start that way.
Thank you, Jim.
Because there's no NHL hockey game to talk about.
Well said, because they're taking an extra day.
They're taking an extra day.
Frontline workers don't take an extra day.
No.
The NHL does.
That's right.
Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line and win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program as we are coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Try the new Triple Pep Pizza only at Boston Pizza.
Triple Pep.
Hey, we got a great show lined up. Coming up, Cale Makar is once again the recipient of the Norris Trophy as the league's top defenseman, as selected by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Josh Morrissey was not directly in the nominations, which you have to be in the top three, but he was close. I'll tell you exactly where Josh Morrissey landed and if this was his best showing so far in terms of in voting, in terms of placement. We'll discuss that.
Do you think he'll ever win?
No.
Because he's like a Team Canada. He's very good defensively, like very good. And he's a 70-point guy. I just, you got to hit 100 points now just to get a Norris. And we'll discuss this a little bit further later on in the show, but I think he'll eventually find his way into a nomination, but I don't think he's ever going to win. Yeah, I seriously, you got to hit 85
it's just
to 100 points.
You have to be Cale Makar, unfortunately.
Wow.
Or Quinn Hughes.
That's the biggest problem. They're both from Calgary. They see each other in the offseason.
Yeah.
He should do something to him. He should whack him two
hands.
hands.
You guys are going on a bike, a stick just so happens to find its way into
no, you don't want to win an award like that. And we don't want to teach kids that's the way to win awards. Kids get awards for everything these days.
Yeah, NHLers don't if they certainly wouldn't celebrate a Stanley Cup win, or athletes wouldn't celebrate a win if there was cheating involved, Jim.
No.
They would never do that.
Clean win like my Astros in 2021.
They could have had 2 clean wins because they were good enough to win
twice. They got 1 clean win. They learned.
Yeah.
Lessons learned.
Professional athletes would never do something like that. Hey, this too as well. We'll get into this. This is actually really interesting. The Athletic has ranked the best series of the 2025 Stanley Cup Playoff.
This was fascinating, actually.
Where did the Jets play in 2 series? Where did those 2 series land?
Would it surprise people if both the Jets series were in the top 3 of the best playoff series this year? I wonder. Let us know. 780-6868.
And hey, a young Panthers fan, she lets us know what she really likes about hockey. Don't sit there and tell me there aren't real hockey fans in Southern Florida, because this little girl, Sophia, she knows what's good about the game of hockey.
Sophia.
Yeah.
Sophia knows. Sophia might be my daughter. Not literally.
No.
But just in her thinking about hockey.
She's even wearing those chains, the chain necklace. I think it's like a trend.
The bling necklace.
Yeah, with the big chain, and you have the logo on it. They're pretty trendy.
Those are interesting because that's a tough sell because you wear them to games and they look great. But it's not an accessory you could, you get a jersey, you can wear it multiple places.
Correct.
You get a hat, you get a hoodie, you get a golf shirt, you can wear that multiple places. You buy one of those chains, and it's pretty much a game thing, right?
Yeah, it is only when you were in the building. Are you going to wear that at home?
Yeah. Well, you could, but, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe if you're Drake.
Drake could pull that off. Yeah, I should do that at the Raptors.
But, you can't wear it to school.
Is Drake at Raptors games anymore?
I don't care about Drake.
I don't know if he is.
I should never have brought him up. Canada's shame.
Here's a question for you, Jim. You have a set of players that I think you're going to look to re-sign this summer. Adam Lowry, definitely. Kyle Connor, absolutely, right? They're entering the final year of their contracts. Lowry, 3 to 4 years, would you say around there somewhere, Jim? 3 years, I think, is a good sweet spot for someone like Adam Lowry, the captain.
I think it's 5.
You think it's 5?
I mean, they want him to be a lifelong Jet, right?
Yeah.
And the better thing is he wants to be a lifelong Jet. He could get, even last contract, people laughed at me, he could get $4 to $5 million on the open market. I think he's going to get 4.5, and I think it's going to be 5 years.
Somebody would give Adam Lowry 5.
Well, somebody would on the open market.
Yeah.
But he's 32 years old. That would take him to 37.
Kyle Connor, 7, something like that. 7 years, 7, 8 years. You want to sign him to that length?
Kyle Connor's getting 8 years.
So those are two of the obvious guys
Kyle Connor's
that are entering.
28, right? He's getting 8 years.
Here's another player who's entering the final year of his contract. RFA Cole Perfetti. 3.25. 3.5 he's making this year, so that would be the qualifying offer would be 3.5. Made $3 million, but AAV, average annual value, 3.25. So I present this thought to you, Jim Toth. Should Perfetti be re-signed this summer along with Lowry and Connor, or is this something you deal with next summer?
Well, if I'm the Jets, this smells like Kevin Cheveldayoff taking advantage of, do you want $5 million a year? Do you want to go from 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 for 7 years?
I think 6.
So
you give him exactly what.
Well,
Nikolai
what I'm
Ehlers
thinking is when Mark Scheifele signed,
I know money's gone up, but
when Mark Scheifele signed his $6 million per year deal, it was at this time. He had, I think, 48 points that year, and then he got paid, and everybody said, what? Or maybe 60 points. Wait, let me check this to be accurate. But you know what I'm saying, that you take advantage of Kevin Cheveldayoff, as well as he's done with contracts. He's done an exceptional job of getting guys locked up. Not just like we all know that Scheifele this time and Hellebuck took a pay cut or took less to stay. But when he's also signed some of these guys, like Ehlers makes $6 million a year, right? Mm-hmm. Ehlers is looking at 8 or 9 right now. And so he took advantage of, I don't want to say take advantage of that. He locked them up when he could at a lesser rate. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you believe in Cole Perfetti, he is a year, maybe a year or 2 away at the most, but he could be a year away from 70 points.
So in July 2016, Mark Scheifele scored the year before he signed his first long-term contract, which was 8 years at $49 million. He had scored 29 goals and 32 assists for 61 points.
That was 8 years or 6 years? That was 8 years at $49 million?
Yeah, I think that's what my little source here is telling me. But that was the year that he had 61 points.
So he had 61 points, and then the very next year he had 82 in 79 games.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. I believe in Cole Perfetti. I know a lot of our listeners have had some doubts and have gone at me about that. That's, but I think he's a perennial 70-point guy going forward. And again, maybe not next year, but if not next year, the year after. But so that what I'm saying is, like, when they locked up Scheifele, he had 61 points and they locked him up.
That's right.
Perfetti had 50 points this year in 82 games.
Career high.
He had 6 points in 13 playoff games and the Manitoba Miracle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure.
So if you have vision here at 23 years old, do you not get him on a $5 million per year deal, $6 million? I don't know about 6.
Well, because there's things cost more. There's gonna be more cap room and stuff like that. I don't. If you are gonna do something like this, you're gonna play. I think you're gonna go round 6 because you're gonna say this is what Mark Scheifele got at this point of your career. And look, you got.
But he's not a center, so I'd take $1 million off.
Yeah, okay.
I said, if you want to play wing, I'll give you 6 years, $30 million. And not only that, but you'll be 29 years old when you're a UFA.
So Mark Scheifele that year too played on the first unit power play.
Right.
Cole Perfetti has not played on the first unit power play. So I would say
he's
that's
played some on it.
Yeah, some of it, but not like a starter on that spot. So I would say that's 5-6 points off, something like that.
But the reason I like you bringing this up today, and when you said it to me prior to the show, I got a little excited because I'm like, this has Cheveldayoff written all over it. Mm-hmm. Everybody's watching Ehlers, everybody's watching Velarde, everybody's looking at Sandberg. Kelly Moore did the Jets reporter about Morgan Barron and just equally as, and I agree with that. But you're bringing up the Lowrys and the Perfettis, and those are the deals that historically, when you're waiting for those bigger ones, that all of a sudden we've signed Captain Adam Lowry to $4.5 million for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
we've signed Cole Perfetti to a 6-year, $5 million per contract. Now, you're right. In this day and age, and cap going up, $30 million might not be enough for your next deal. But it just, to me, my spidey sense is tingling around. This is Kevin Cheveldayoff written all over it. I can get him at what will be in a year or two a bargain.
I will say this, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that particularly in the first round, I think Cole Perfetti was the Jets' best forward all around throughout that entire series. He only ended up with 6 points.
That's saying something when you look at the forwards on this.
Yeah, and I think the problem is he hasn't been able to capitalize on all of his chances. He only had 6 points in 13 games over the playoffs. That's not pay the man territory to me, Jim. But there's no doubt to me that if the Jets and Perfetti come together and says, you know what, let's talk about this next summer, and then we'll really get into the nitty-gritty about a long-term contract, and we will know absolutely what your value is. Right? And you might end up paying a little bit, but how much are you really going to pay?
So will he.
I know. That's exactly right. But how much more would you save if he comes out and has a great year? But him being, I will say this too, him being in and around goals, getting close won't cut it this upcoming season. If he wants to cash in at the age of 24 next year, he's going to have to produce, and he has all the opportunity to do it. With his IQ, his hockey IQ, and his skill set, he can be a 60-point guy next year. No doubt about it. 60 plus, I would even say. He can get 25 goals.
So this is my feeling on it. They hit a home run with Scheifele because the very next year he was 82 points. He was a point-a-game player and was ever after that.
Yeah.
At $6 million, that's a bargain. I don't know if Perfetti's there yet, but he will be. Say if you give him 6 years, he will be that in year 2.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it smells of Cheveldayoff coming in, and here we go. This is a great question. We got a break, but Dick brings it up. How do you pay anyone more money than Hellebuyck and Scheifele?
Well, that's the beauty of them both at 8.5.
You don't, except for Kyle Connor. I think Kyle Connor's going to hit 9.5, but everybody else, the Perfettis, the Villardis, the Sandbergs, I think are looking at 6 to 7.
So Connor, when he signed his 7-year contract extension in 2019 at 7.14, which is a steal, by the way. That year, he had 66 points. So 34 goals and 32 assists for 66 points that year after playing all 82 games.
We got a break, but I have a big point to make about Kyle Connor's contract compared to the other ones.
Okay, we'll talk about that too. So I don't know. I don't think you're going to give. I don't think if you're going to sign Perfetti long term, it's not going to be 7. It is not going to be 7.
Perfetti, I think, would make a mistake signing 6 years at $5 million. I think he's better off to go into the season and come back and get 6
If
to
that's
7.
on the table, I agree with you. We'll be right back.
Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Dig into the new Triple Pep Pizza, Double Trouble Nachos, available only at Boston Pizza. Hey, the number one caller on Friday will be awarded that $50 gift card to Boston Pizza. Jim, we got just under a minute here. Wrap up your thoughts on Kyle Connor's contract and why it's different.
So when Scheifele got extended, it was $6 million. When Scheifele did, when Hellebuyck did, it was $6 million. When Morrissey did, it was $6 million. When Kyle Connor did, it was 7.1. The Jets know and think he's special. Not that any of the other players are more valuable or less valuable than he is, but the Jets, to me, know that he's an elite goal scorer that is a rare find. Scheifele, $6 million, Hellebuyck, $6 million, Morrissey, $6 million, 7.1 for Connor. It's another reason why I think Kyle Connor is looking at 9.5, and would be the only Jet that would get more than Scheifele and Hellebuyck.
Kyle Connor's still like in the top playoff scoring if you take a look because
he had 17 points in 13 games.
He was outstanding.
You pay a little bit more for that, right? Not saying the other players aren't special too, but I think they view Kyle as a little bit different.
Where did the Jets series land in the Athletics rankings of best series in this playoffs? I'll tell you that when we come back. Jets at noon, brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line and win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. Your ticket to romance now, past and present. We'll announce the winner later in the program as we're coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Try the new Triple Pep Pizza only at Boston Pizza. And while you're doing all that, download the Jets at noon while you're eating a Triple Pep Pizza while driving through the Wash Method Car Wash, which might be the best way to enjoy a Triple Pep Pizza from Boston Pizza. You can do it all while listening to the Jets at Noon podcast, free now on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts, with exclusive Jets talk and content only found there. And take Jets at Noon wherever you go and continue the conversation whenever you want. Still to come on the show, we got to listen to that young Panthers fan. I got that audio. I will play that for you about her. Listen, she knows hockey, this girl. A little girl. She knows what she likes. She likes hockey, and she's not afraid to tell you why. I'll make sure we play that audio before the show is out. And I'll also tell you where the Winnipeg Jets 2 series rank in the Athletics rankings for the best series of the 2025 Stanley Cup Playoff so far. It's not a little premature, but I guess there's only one left. So the Stanley Cup final always brings a little bit of extra heat to it. But Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche is the 2025 recipient of the James Norris Memorial Trophy as the league's top defenseman as selected by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Cale Makar took 176 first-place votes. Zach Rowinski, only 13, and Quinn Hughes, only 2. So it was essentially a runaway for Cale Makar once again. My vote would have been for Zach Rowinski. Just Columbus with and without him is a totally different team. I guess that's also why Quinn Hughes was in the top 3, because Vancouver without Quinn Hughes and Vancouver with Quinn Hughes is a totally different team as well.
Right.
Cale Makar, unbelievable talent. Maybe the most talented defenseman in years and years and years in the National Hockey League that can do what he does. Cale Makar is
92 points in 80 games and 30 goals.
And also his defensive play, Jim, is nothing to slouch at. He is an epic
he's very good defensively.
Yeah, so
and his speed, he's got a ton of speed.
He's well.
I would argue he not on the same level, but close to McDavid-like speed.
So
as a defenseman,
certainly a well-earned recipient of it. My vote would have been to Zach Rowinski.
Zach Rowinski, 82 points in 81 games. Zach Rowinski, it might shock some people, on a non-playoff team, was a point-per-game player.
Yeah, and
more than.
Yeah, Colorado is a much more talented roster, all that. I would have voted for him. And also, let's add some context to it, what was going on in Columbus.
Yeah.
That gives him a boost, too. Just like the leadership that he showed throughout the year, too, as well. I know he got second in voting and he had a heck of a season, but I am such a huge fan of Zach Rowinski.
So am I. I think he's a great player.
And especially after this year, my what I think of him as a player and a person just skyrocketed. The way that he spoke out for his teammates several times through the struggles.
Laine said what he said, and he came to
look. I'm a big fan of his.
He was more than a point per game player on a team that I didn't think would have an 82-point player, and he had 82 points in 81 games as a defenseman.
Would you vote for Rowinski too? Would he have got your first place vote?
Well, look, 92 points in 80 games is tough to say no to, but Makar had 90 points in 77 games last year. 60. I'm never going to argue Cale Makar when he puts up 92 points and defends like he does. Doesn't deserve a Norris, but it's becoming the norm for him. The season, and this is what we do with awards, right? The season Rowinski had was exceptional for him. And given that it was a non-playoff team and everything going on. But if you're just voting best defenseman, I'll put it to you this way. I want to vote for Rowinski, but if you're starting a team tomorrow with one of these guys, who are you taking?
It's a good point.
It's probably Makar, right?
Josh Morrissey finished in 4th. He didn't get any first place voting, but he got 5 second place votes. He got 18 third place votes. And
I don't think that's bad because
it was far and away the top 3. I mean, Cale Makar ran away with this, but the top 3 very solidified with Rowinski and Quinn Hughes.
I'll tell you one thing right now. Josh Morrissey, and this isn't a knock on Quinn Hughes. I'm a big fan of his too. Josh Morrissey is a better defender than Quinn Hughes. He defends better than Quinn Hughes does. But Quinn Hughes, I think, can skate a little better, puts up more points. But again, this is the old adage, right? This has been such an old debate. Do they need an award for best defensive defenseman?
They have one for forward, right?
They do.
They have the sulky.
And it doesn't mean that if you have 70 points as a defenseman, you're out of the running. It's the opposite. If you're a defender like Josh, so let's do this. If it was the best defenseman for defense play only, no offense, where would Morrissey come in? I think it would be.
It's a great question.
I think it would be higher than top 4. it would be in the top 3.
Mm-hmm. Well, who is the best defensive defenseman?
I think Rowinski's a heck of a defender. I know Makar is. I think that he would move ahead of Hughes in the voting for defensive defenseman.
Yeah.
If there was such a trophy.
I think Cale Makar still would be.
Cale Makar would win them both, right?
He probably would. You'd also see guys like Jacob Slavin, Chris Tanev would also be like in terms of defensive defensemen. Those two guys would be probably perennially nominated. So Josh Morrissey finishes 4th. This is actually the highest he's ever voted place wise. When it comes to the Norris Trophy, finished in 4th.
The highest was 5th, right?
Yeah, in 22-23. That's when he had 76 points. He only finished 5th that year, which is crazy. But
now you know what I mean about defensive. Defense leads to offense. He had his lowest point total in the last 3 seasons at 62 points in 80 games, and the team finished first overall. That's my point of, right? Like, do you need Josh Morrissey instead of scoring 62 points, scoring 72? Or do you need them, and I thought he played exceptionally well defensively. I mean, they wouldn't have had him after the Dallas series, right? Like, he would have been out for the playoffs, and that would have been a tough ask against Edmonton. To try and take out the Oilers with no Josh Morrissey. Yeah,
without a doubt. When Josh Morrissey did finish in 5th, he actually got more of the total vote points than he did this past year, but he finished 4th. So he had 337 when he finished 5th, behind Hampus Lindholm, Cale Makar, Adam Fox, and Erik Karlsson that year. When Erik Karlsson, I know that he had, what did he have, like 101 points that year, but probably... and was also minus 26 and probably didn't deserve it. But that's the way she goes sometimes, Jim, because 101 points for a defenseman is pretty incredible. But like Morrissey, I don't think he's ever going to win. I'll reiterate that. I don't think he's ever going to win because there are players like Rowinski and Hughes and Makar. And I just think that they're a step above Josh Morrissey. Like, Josh Morrissey is an elite defenseman in the National Hockey League. There's no doubt about that to me. But like, he's not a part of that top 3 upper crust.
No, and I'm not trying to say he is, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that
he will get a top 3 nod at some point. I do believe that.
Yes,
he will. He will eventually get nominated for one. And if he doesn't, that's a huge shame if he doesn't. But that's just the way things are going to go. But I think one day he's going to finish in the top 3. Let's move on to this. The Athletic has ranked the best playoff series of the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs so far. Of course, there's one ongoing, 3 games in. Game 4 goes tomorrow. Florida Panthers up 2-1 in that series. What was number 3, Jim? What was the 3rd best series?
Oh, this is tough because you told me, and I can't remember. No, that's not why it's tough. It was the Jets, right? The Jets in Dallas.
Jets in Dallas was ranked the 3rd best.
And I think that's lost on some Jets fans. There was 2 shutouts by the Jets. There was the clinching game where they went to overtime and lost on a penalty kill. It was a 2-2 game until something was propelled.
Yeah.
And it turned on a dime there real fast. But I mean, this was a very close, hard-fought series. There was physicality in it. There was the punch. Don't forget about the punch.
Yeah.
From Jamie Benn and stuff. I thought it was a really good hockey series.
Yeah, and you go back and when this was mentioned, you go through like the drama of the series and the ups and downs and the emotions of Mark Scheifele losing his father and that playing into Game 6. The punches you mentioned. It was a dramatic series. Number 2, Dallas and Colorado was the 2nd best series.
I thought maybe that would have been first, but yeah, I when you asked me the top 3, I said, well, number 1 would be Dallas, Colorado. Now that was good, entertaining hockey, but the hockey, like I thought the Dallas Winnipeg Jets series was better hockey, pure hockey. But the Dallas Colorado, and the reason I say this is because Dallas Colorado got out of hand a lot of times. There were 7 and 6 goals being scored in games, and it got a little wild and hectic and stuff like that. So it's not pure defensive minded hockey, so to speak, but it was entertaining.
Number 1, Jim. Drum roll, please. Number 1, according to The Athletic, ranked the best series of the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. Jets over St. Louis.
The Manitoba Miracle!
Jets in 7 over the Blues. And this was the reasoning why. Okay. The Winnipeg Jets meltdowns. And they had 3 of them. If you remember, there was 3 meltdowns, all in St. Louis.
The distance travel in a series, right? You win a series, but you absolutely get pounded 3 times.
You get 3 absolute meltdowns, and you find a way to win. The Blues' defiance to go down. The Manitoba Miracle plus double overtime in your Game 7. You have the coaches' feud over Scheifele's injury.
Right.
You know, Montgomery.
I didn't know
and
Monty
Arneal.
got his medicine degree, his medical
true.
degree.
You have the back and forth. You have even crazy situations like the malfunctioning aircraft of the Blues, which was like what was it, like a firefighting aircraft from like Alaska or something? Was that the one that they used?
It looked like the plane from Mystery Alaska. It looked like the plane from Memphis Belle, if you remember that movie about the World War II.
That's right. The Enola Gay?
It looked like the plane from Major League.
So that was all leading into that, and all led, of course, in the Manitoba Miracle. The big punctuation was the reason why the Athletic voted the Jets Blues series the best series of the 2025 playoffs.
I mean, 2 of the top 3 series in the playoffs were Jets series. I don't know how fans take that.
Hey, listen, and the top 3 were all out of the Central Division.
Yeah.
So what does that
really
say?
Good hockey.
What does that say about the Central Division?
I would already argue with you that this Florida Oilers series might take over as number 1.
Mm-hmm.
If the Oilers bounce back tomorrow night and walk the walk that Connor McDavid's talking, you have 2 overtime games. You have a beatdown. If the Oilers bounce back tomorrow, it's only 4 games in, but it's already one of the best series of the playoffs.
Minnesota takes the other wild card spot in the Central, goes into the Pacific, loses to Vegas in the first round. But 5 out of 8 members of the Central Division were in the playoffs. It just speaks to this division and what it takes to get out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
it's incredible.
I want to read this one text from Tara. Good afternoon. Just to put forth a bit more of my dislike for the Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
I received an email from a certain furniture company. They're offering free delivery if the Oilers win Game 4. Frankly, I'd rather pay for delivery. Have a great day. Tara, you got a spot on the Jets at Noon couch anytime you want.
Thank you, Tara.
Or your lounger or your beanbag chair, whatever you want. That would be hilarious, right? Here's your furniture and there's no delivery. I'll pay, thanks.
You know what, Tara?
I'll pay for delivery, thanks.
I got something for you.
Yeah. We're going to deliver you something.
We're going to deliver you something real special. A VIP car wash from my good friends at Wash Method, 204. We're texting the show, 204-780-6868.
There you go.
Nothing would delight me more if the Oilers lose and go back to Edmonton down 3-1. Now, that series is not over. Look at what Edmonton's been able to do.
That's like somebody you dislike coming over to you at a restaurant and going, hey, I'll pick up your bill for you. That's okay. I'll pay. Thanks.
Yeah. Listen.
Good for you, Tara.
McDavid can win his cup. Draisaitl can win their cup. Just not this year.
They can do it when they're Maple Leafs.
Yeah, you can do
on a real
They can do it when they're members of the Utah Mammoth.
Yes. On a real quick note here, I didn't know if we should mention this or not, but Chase Stiegel's being buried today in Atlanta. And Milt put out on social media, I promise today will be an amazing day. We're going to cry, we're going to smile, we're going to laugh, and we're going to celebrate. I promise. So I just wanted to mention that. Like, we were thinking of Milt and the family, and it's an extremely sad day. And I sent Milt a note this morning. I just said, just paraphrase, hey, Milt, condolences again, wishing you nothing but strength and everything. And he just got back to me now and said, thank you, Jim. So we just send everybody from the Milt family and all the fans out there that are going through this today in this ceremony. I hope it is a celebration. I hope they have some laughs and some tears, and it is what Milt wants it to be.
I'll be right back. Miss your chance to get your thoughts on the show today. Call the Boston Pizza Jets at Noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Dig into the new triple pet pizza and double trouble nachos, available now only at Boston Pizza. The number one caller on Friday. You blow that lineup, you'll win a $50 gift certificate to Boston Pizza. We'll announce that winner on Friday's show. Jim, don't sit there and tell me that there aren't any real hockey fans in South Florida. I don't want to hear that come out of your lips again. You're making wild accusations, and I will not stand for it.
They don't know hockey. They don't know hockey like we know hockey.
Well, this fan knows what she. This fan knows
You
what she
don't know
likes.
me.
She knows what she likes.
9-year-old Sophia here before the game, and I asked her what her favorite part of Florida Panthers games are. Sophia, what is your favorite part of Panthers game?
The fighting.
The fighting. Okay, so now I have to ask you, now that it has become the big story from this game, what did you think about the fighting, especially in that third period?
It was really good, and I really liked how they punched each other a lot.
Now, did you feel like the Panthers won the fight in addition to the game?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So do you want to be our local 10 fighting hockey expert?
Yes.
It was a 6-1 win. And
Second to the fighting. Second to the win was.
Yeah, they probably won the game outside the fights. Yeah, probably 6-1.
I have this problem with my 4-year-old now that will play mini sticks, and he watches NHL, of course, a ton with me, and he wants to fight, right? Now he wants to fight his older brother in mini sticks and all the time, which we're like, oh, okay, well, we're having fun. But now we play basketball. We try to play tennis. Okay, Dad, now we fight. No, there's no fighting in basketball. There's no, we're trying to teach him that even in basketball, you got to beat the wheels off somebody.
Well, that's what you need to teach your son. Yes. That kind of stuff.
Good parenting right there.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
If that guy dunks on you, you beat the wheels off him.
Yeah. Listen, fighting's legal in every sport.
That's cute, though, right?
Yeah. That's a girl. And she was wearing that chain we were talking about before.
Yeah, and the Florida jersey. She's all decked out and ready to go. But I like the fact that the winning was secondary, too.
The fighting. That's what she wanted to see. Florida might, I know that the team's been good, but listen, when I was in the Orlando area, big Lightning fans there. You think that
Lightning do well. Lightning do well.
You think that I'm over-exaggerating. The Lightning they were in the playoffs when I was down there last, and there was people wearing Lightning jerseys everywhere. So maybe they can get the same sort of thing going on in the Panthers land.
The artist formerly known as Skylar Peters went down with a crew from Brandon and here to a Tampa Bay Lightning game. They ran into Ric Flair at a lounge.
I wish I had as much vacation time as Skylar Peters. Because he's in Calgary now, and I don't think he works there. I think he's out gallivanting all the time. Thank you very much, Jeffrey Fortier, for producing the show.
He's a social butterfly of Western Canada.
I saw him when I was in Calgary.
The social butterfly of Western Canada.